Remember when your teachers would tell you to read between the lines and to find the story behind the actual words on the paper? And how annoying that was? Well, today we're going to talk about the photo version of that same concept. I'm going to talk about the composition techniques that you need, the lighting that helps motivate your story, and just what it is to tell a story with photography. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Sergio and I'm a commercial photographer here in Victoria, BC. If you're new here, I do mainly videos on the business side of photography and some of the nitty-gritty stuff that doesn't really get talked about. And in this video, we're going to share exactly that. We're going to talk about the storytelling that happens within photography. I've also got a couple examples of some books here that we're going to go through. I can show you some real-world examples from some of the great photographers that have come before us. Being a successful photographer and being a working pro, someone like Joe McNally, like the book we're going to dive into, is much more than just exposing an image and making it look technically fine. That is the basis. I don't want you to think that you don't need to do that. Like, you need to do that. You need to be undeniable in your skill. You need to be at the very best that you can be in order to make it as a professional photographer. Everyone and your mother has a cell phone. Everybody can take pictures nowadays. It's not a skill in order to expose an image. It's just taking extra steps to do what your iPhone is already doing. When it comes to being a successful photographer, whether you're getting paid for it or not, it's easy to just take a picture. Oh, it doesn't look good. Let's fix it until it looks good. But the story, the mood, the ambiance, the feeling that you're able to bring into an image is deep inside you, and we need to be able to pull that out. I want you to look at your upbringing. I want to look at things that you enjoy as a hobby, things that you enjoy outside of photography. I want you to take all of that in and use it as inspiration in order to tell the story through photography. I also have another book over here, which is a drawing book from Kevin Nealon. I can get just as much inspiration from something like this as I would from the photography-related Joe McNally book, which we'll dive into both of these in just a sec. We're not going to do some huge deep dive on what composition is and what every single rule is and how you have to abide by certain rules to tell a certain story, but I do want to just share a few of the composition techniques that really help emphasize your story. It's not like a make or break, it's not a necessary thing, but if you use these tips, it'll help you in your photography. A lot of storytelling when it comes to the business side of photography, you're already knowing that you're about to sell a product, you're about to sell this person's physical prowess, you're going in to celebrate a piece of clothing, whatever it is that you're going to shoot, that should already be your motivating factor. I know that when you're thinking of composition, if you're shooting people, let's say, you're going to put them in a way so that the person looks good. But if it's a picture of their clothes, and it's a picture of the watch, or if it's a picture of the shoes that they're wearing, I don't need to see their face. I don't need to see, the huge room around them and everything that's going on. I need to see the point of the shot. I need to see what it is that we're actually trying to market. So keep that in mind when you're actually when you're going to your different photo shoots, because depending on the whole point of your shoot is going to motivate what you're actually picking to put into your frame. A wide shot like this, which would be from the New York Stock Exchange, helps show the breadth of it and shows how big the scale of this room is. He shot this at a slower shutter speed, so we get a little bit of the motion, we get a bit of the action. It looks chaotic. And there was a point to shooting it this wide. If you go too close, you miss that. You miss that story. Even here, when we're doing a close-up of the actual shot, we're still getting a lot of the scale. We're getting how it's computers or people. There's nothing else in that room. That's all it's filled with. We're getting the chaos. We're getting the action. We're able to tell the story of what it felt like to be here on this day just by a few little photography techniques that you have in your back pocket. These are techniques that make these images stronger. They're reasons that these images stand out, or that they make it into this book of 50 years worth of photography. Man, can you imagine trying to narrow down 50 years or whatever of photography into one book of maybe 100 or 200 photos? Like, that's pretty crazy. That's a lot of culling. Let's just put it that way. There's probably a lot of stuff that hasn't made it in here. See what we can get if we open up another one here randomly. All right, cool. Man, it's loud up there today. Sorry about those noises. All right, so if we look at these shots over here, very simple, very basic. Being in a big open square room, your first thought is to shoot wide and to shoot the scale of this room. But I think by having this beautiful composition of the person, and then we've got the tire, and then we've got the boxing bag in the back, it creates gorgeous lines in this shot. There is a beautiful balance in the storytelling here by showing us that there is an easy way for the eye to move around left, right, left, comes back to the center. There's a nice triangle going on. There is a lot of stability when it comes to a composition like this. Maybe that is to go and show the stability, the strength, the character of the model that we're shooting. I'm looking at these not for the first time, but I'm just kind of giving you what's on top of my mind right now. And by looking at it real quickly, I can already tell that this guy, even if he wasn't shirtless, I could tell you that this guy is going to be a balance and functional oriented bodybuilder because of the way it was shot. If you shoot it like this and that isn't your target audience, then it's not a failed shot, but you're not using your composition to your advantage to tell your story. By having even this one over here, by having this, perfectly balanced composition, and now he's got the jump rope that's perfectly above him, we see like a sense of stillness and a sense of, it's like me and my workout and nothing else matters. That's very well put together in the composition of these shots. It has nothing to do with the lighting. Yeah, sure, it's all really pretty. There's a haze, there's an extra flash, there's a bunch of stuff going on in these shots, and technically very pretty shots. But if we look at just the composition, we're able to see the stillness, we're able to see the balance, we're able to see that, there's a lot of structure in this person as much as there is in this shot. All right, so composition is good and fun. Now what about lighting, right? How does the lighting motivate or push the shot? I mean, this one's maybe a little bit more on the simple side, but if we just take this image over here, we're not trying to recreate a 3-point lighting system. We're not trying to do some crazy type of image where it looks not real. We're showing this man waking up in his house. This has to be very environmental. There's maybe a flash over here, but I do believe that's just window light. And there is a really nice sense of just morning calm in this image. We're not trying to make it, over the top and have an on-camera flash and make it look super gritty. I just want to see this man in his moment, drinking his coffee before he goes off on his adventure. Next with the lighting, let's see here. Oh, I think I just saw light painting, yeah. All right, a little slow shutter with some flashes and some, that's really neat. Done some stuff like this before. Well, there we go. So this is an easy way to just further this using your lighting techniques in order to motivate the story that you're trying to tell. We talked about it a little bit with the slowed shutter speed in the New York Stock Exchange, and this is a similar effect, but now we're mixing in flash to freeze the motion at certain parts of the image. So this way we can create a little bit of control within that chaos. So it's not just a big, blurry, crazy, like, woo, woo, woo. It's actually woo with a little bit of freeze, and then a woo, and then another freeze, and then a woo, and then another freeze. And having that little bit of control within that chaos shows that, oh, this is actually on purpose. All of this chaos is actually on purpose. It's not just running by the seat of their New York Stock Exchange pants. It's about being a fencer or being a golfer and or being like a shot putter or whatever it is that's actually happening. But the control within the chaos, I think, is really well exemplified in the lighting of these shots. All right, so next up, let's see if we can get more of a lighting shot kind of thing. We've got, ooh, okay. Oh my goodness, with the towers in the back too. That's too bad. Okay. I guess the lighting in this is nothing too crazy. We're just showing what's actually happening in a private jet, so we're not going to talk about it too much. Oh, okay, there we go. I always see what's going on. Fun. Same light, same shot. We're not going to talk about these ones. All right, what else we got for the lighting that we can maybe talk about? And stop. Did I just see? Oh, fun. Yeah, okay. Some skateboarders, some more sunset stuff with mirrors. Oh, that's quite neat. Thing like this over here, I think we're going to already have shot an image like this, or if you haven't shot an image like this, you're going to want to shoot an image like this. Maybe not with the mirrors and the dancers and the elaborateness of a shot like this, but at the very least, a sunset image with a strobe to try to mimic that, fake the sun essentially and create a sun exactly where you want it to be. It's something that didn't exist previously or doesn't exist in real life. And then when you pop it with a speed light, then you create this out of this world feeling, something that is meant to show stop and to be just a moment that you just can't really recreate. Even if you try and you had the exact same model and the exact same props, you still wouldn't be able to recreate this shot because this is a very singular moment, 1/25th of a second, and is a beautiful way to capture that moment. And I think we sort of talked about the slow shutter with the flash, but again, a little bit of that controlled chaos, a bit of they are going at 60 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour. There is a sense of stillness in their chaos. Yeah, we've got the shutter speed to show the speed and to show the action that's actually happening, but using a flash like this really freezes their stillness, their moment, their feelings, and we get to experience that as a viewer of this image. When I was first starting out, I remember seeing maybe some videos like this, but mostly just reading things where I would see like, how are you supposed to tell a story with photography? What's a visual medium? What's a tool for the job? What are you talking about? This is just pictures. This is ones and zeros on a sensor. I don't get that whole read between the lines talk. But after 10, 12, 15 years of doing this, I'm starting to get a hang of it. And I'm starting to get what it is to really say a story with your images. And I want to share that a little bit with you guys, try to break that down, try to get rid of the mystique around it. So what goes into actually telling a story? What goes into the storytelling behind your photography? Well, looking at other disciplines like drawing, I think is a great way for you to learn and to grow as a photographer, because you get to see how other artists are telling their story through paintings, through music, through tattoos, whatever it may be. And by looking at these other disciplines, you can be like, oh, okay, so that's how you share a story that's traumatic in your past, or that's how you talk about your childhood without being pompous or whatever. If we look at, let's say we look at this Jim Carrey shot. Your idea of Jim Carrey and your thought of Jim Carrey is going to be different than mine, and it's going to be different than Kevin Nealon's. By looking at this artist and his rendition of this person, of this human being, we're able to see what stands out to Kevin from Jim. What is it that, of course, obviously as a caricature, those things that stand out to him are even more emphasized, and it's a little bit even easier, I would say, to see what it is that he sees. The smile, the eyes, the jawline, but more importantly, the feeling and the mood that Jim gives Kevin, and that's what Kevin sees in reality. That's what he sees in his life. Does he see everyone angry and sad about life, or sad about aging, or mad about a breakup? Or no, he sees the moment of bliss in Jim, at least for this still frame, and that's what he decides to paint. And that is the story, the mood, the feeling that he is able to capture in his painting. So that's what I want you to do with your photography. I want you to think about the mood. I want you to think about the feeling that you're going to give your audience. I want you to think about so much more than, oh, this is a rule of thirds. Oh, this is Rembrandt lighting. Like that's part of the shot. It is important. I always say that it's not important, and like it is important. It's also part of the image, but so much more so is the story, because the story and who you are and what you see in your images can't be replicated. Anyone can take a slow shutter speed, shoot at f8. Anyone can do all these lighting scenarios, but nobody can share the story of who you are. Nobody can talk about your experiences, your childhood, and put that in an image. Only you can do that. So focus on that, and that's how you'll be a better photographer. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a lovely Thursday. What are you doing this weekend? What am I doing this weekend? Ooh, I've got a friend coming in from out of town. Should be pretty fun. Hosting for the weekend. So that'd be, yeah. That's my weekend plans. Let me know what yours are. I'll be here in Victoria. If you're around and you spot me ever, just say hello. I'll try at least to say hello back. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in a couple days. Later.